lip-syncing mishaps, a parade of on-air F-bombs, and a destructive mosh pit. These are just a few reasons why some of music's biggest acts were caught in the crosshairs of SNL's censors. Kanye West used to be a must-see musical guest on Saturday Night Live, known for delivering electrifying performances across his 7 appearances. But during a 2018 appearance, he took things to a whole new level by wearing a comically oversized water bottle costume while performing I Love It. He also earned the honor of performing Ghost Town for a 3rd time at the show's end. It was a rare privilege that was usually reserved for legends like Bruce Springsteen and U2. However, the performance quickly went off the rails, forcing NBC to abruptly cut the feed, and reportedly the rapper's behavior was the reason why. For one, West wore a red Make America Great Again hat throughout the performance and launched into a politically charged tirade about the media and then President Trump.
I love this guy right here. Let me give this guy a hug right here.
He also dismissed racist allegations about Trump and even claimed that he was mocked backstage by the cast for his MAGA hat. The audience booed West, while host Adam Driver and cast member Chris Redd quietly walked away. As West continued his rant, the moment grew even more tense, with some cast members becoming visibly uncomfortable.
I'm like on the left, I'm like, oh God. And then I'm like, I want a career, so I leave.
West hasn't been invited back to SNL since. In 2012, Lana Del Rey was the fresh new face in pop music, so naturally she was asked to perform on SNL, but it didn't go so well. While singing video games, Del Rey missed several notes and barely moved from her spot in the middle of the stage, aside from some weird twirling. People on the internet wasted no time in criticizing her performance. On X, actress Juliette Lewis wrote, "Wow, watching this singer on SNL is like watching a 12-year-old in their bedroom when they're pretending to sing and perform." Another X user was even harsher, writing, "Lana Del Rey's next song is called Muted Television While People Brush their teeth and prepare for bed." SNL eventually weighed in too. Weeks after the debacle, cast member Kristen Wiig portrayed Del Rey in a Weekend Update segment. After entering the stage looking dazed, Wiig's Del Rey defended the performance, joking,
"I am stiff, distant, and weird."
When Sinead O'Connor appeared on SNL in 1992, her second performance was one for the history books. It started off good, with the singer standing on stage alone, delivering a stirring, voice-only interpretation of Bob Marley's anti-child abuse song War. But at the song's end, O'Connor held up a photo of Pope John Paul II and tore it to bits, saying,
"Fight the real enemy."
With that move, O'Connor made it clear who and what she was protesting. Using war as a platform, she aimed to address the Catholic Church and its alleged misdeeds against children, but the singer had gone rogue. During a dress rehearsal, O'Connor held up a picture of a child and made a statement about protection, but she didn't tear up the image. The crew in the control booth were so stunned by the act that they refused to turn on the applause sign, which explained the shocked silence following O'Connor's performance. In the days that followed, NBC fielded numerous complaints from upset viewers, and multiple Catholic organizations demanded an apology from NBC. NBC Vice President Curtis Block ultimately told the AP that the network did not approve of O'Connor's actions and would never have allowed it. In 2004, Ashlee Simpson was the pop singer everyone was talking about. In addition to having a popular MTV reality show, her debut single Pieces of Me became a top 5 hit. Simpson performed Pieces of Me on SNL in October of that year, but when she returned for her second song, something bizarre happened. Simpson's disembodied voice suddenly blared from the studio's speakers, singing Pieces of Me once again. It quickly became apparent that Simpson had been lip-syncing earlier, and somehow the track she had used got replayed by mistake. Visibly embarrassed, Simpson danced an odd little jig, and the broadcast cut to an emergency commercial. In the closing moments of the show, Simpson blamed the snafu on her musicians, saying,
"I feel so bad my band started playing the wrong song, and I know what to do, so I thought I'd do a hoedown."
In the aftermath, Simpson's manager and father, Joe Simpson, told the media that she had to lip-sync because an acid reflux attack destroyed her voice. In 2024, however, the singer had changed her story, saying it was actually vocal cord nodules that caused the issue. In the 1990s, no hip-hop group was more outspoken about their love of weed than Cypress Hill. This was best exemplified in their 1993 hit Insane in the Brain, which landed them a musical guest spot on SNL in October of that year. The group performed the song in their first slot, which went without incident. But for their second performance of I Ain't Going Out Like That, the group had a different plan.
We were gonna smash our equipment like The Who, because we were doing that on tour.
Once their gear was smashed up, DJ Muggs was going to light up a joint. However, the group was explicitly told not to do that. Cypress Hill member Sendog told the Village Voice, "It wasn't just the Saturday Night Live people saying he couldn't smoke up on air. It was everyone. Our record label, our management, our friends." Instead, a defiant DJ Muggs decided to open the song with a joint rather than close with it.
They told us we couldn't smoke this joint, blah, 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 but we ain't going out like that. Boom.
The group later found out that it had been permanently banned from the show. An April 1996 episode of SNL featured an unlikely duo, billionaire industrialist and Republican presidential candidate Steve Forbes as host, and far-left rap metal band Rage Against the Machine as the musical guest. It was a combination made for live TV chaos.
I'm Steve Forbes, and I'm human. That's right. I am human, just like you.
Rage was promoting its album Evil Empire and was allowed to decorate the stage however it liked. They took full advantage, hanging upside-down American flags, a highly political gesture symbolizing the US as a nation in distress. After a rehearsal, however, SNL ordered the band to remove the flags, seeing as they potentially upset sponsors. Rage did get rid of the flags, but with 30 seconds to go before their live performance of Bulls on Parade, their crew returned the upside-down flags to the stage. This led to a physical altercation between Rage's crew and SNL stagehands. Rage guitarist Tom Morello told People's Party with Talib Kweli,
"We've informed our crew guys, defend the flags."
The band ultimately played on a flag-free stage. As soon as they were done, an SNL producer told Rage's tour manager that the band had to leave. They would never get to perform a second song. The Red Hot Chili Peppers were around for close to a decade before they found mainstream success with their multi-platinum fifth album, 1991's Blood Sugar Sex Magic. The album produced the hit singles Under the Bridge and Give It Away, which the band's guitarist John Frusciante wasn't too happy about. In Anthony Kiedis' autobiography Scar Tissue, he recalled Frusciante telling him, "We're too popular. I don't need to be at this level of success." So Frusciante rebelled by carrying out a public act of sabotage. When the band performed Under the Bridge on SNL, Frusciante played abysmally, and according to Kiedis, it was done intentionally. Kiedis wrote in his book, "I've since heard that John was on heroin during the show, but he might as well have been on another planet because he started playing some I'd never heard before. I had no idea what song he was playing or what key he was in." Frusciante later claimed that he was experimenting with the song, but Kiedis wasn't buying it, writing, "Well, we weren't. We were on live TV in front of millions of people, and it was torture." In January 1986, indie rockers The Replacements brought their infamous drunken antics to SNL, turning their fuzzy garage rock performance into a televised disaster. Despite SNL having a no alcohol rule on show days, the band got one of their technicians to sneak drinks into the studio. From there, the band spent most of the evening drinking and were too wasted to get through Bastards of Young without any problems. Lead vocalist Paul Westerberg wandered away from the mic mid-verse, while bassist Tommy Stinson stumbled on stage. Guitarist Bob Stinson was also playing sloppy, so Westerberg yelled to him, "Come on!" The F-word aired uncensored, as did a flash of Bob Stinson's rear end after he tore his pants while trying to do a somersault. The Replacements never played on SNL again. However, a much calmer and sober Westerberg was a musical guest in a 1993 episode. Since NBC is regulated by the Federal Communications Commission, the network's censor can mute the network's audio feed if a musical guest starts dropping F-bombs. Case in point, System of a Down's 2005 SNL appearance. During the band's performance, singer Serj Tankian said the F-word several times while singing BYOB, all of which got censored. However, when guitarist Darren Malakane yelled out, "Yeah," the censor missed it. NBC didn't receive any complaints from SNL viewers, but an executive did issue a statement decrying System of a Down for the incident. The band was permanently banned from the show as a result. In the late 1970s, Saturday Night Live was one of the few places on TV where you could catch daring punk and new wave acts like Elvis Costello. On a December 1977 episode, Costello played Watching the Detectives in the first slot without any issue. But when he started playing his second song, Less Than Zero, the singer yelled to his band to stop.
"I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, there's no reason to do this song here."
Costello and his band then tore through Radio Radio. It was an awkward bit of live television, but also an act of punk-flavored protest against the powers that be. Radio Radio is a pointed criticism of corporate media and how it can be used to control the masses, which is why Lorne Michaels pleaded with Costello not to perform it. Costello did anyway and got banned from SNL for more than a decade as a result. However, the ban was lifted in 1989 when he returned as a musical guest. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, bands like Fear helped shape and define LA's loud and angry punk scene. Original SNL cast member John Belushi was a huge fan of the group and convinced the show's producer Dick Ebershaw to book them as a musical guest for the Halloween episode in October 1981. But seeing as they were a rebellious punk band, Fear wasn't going to just play some aggressive punk tunes and call it a day. Instead, the group put on a wildly raucous show, which featured a mob of violent slam dancers. The dancers knocked into members of the audience, the crew, and the stage equipment, leaving extensive damage in their wake. SNL never played the band's full performance, instead cutting to a pre-taped sketch starring Eddie Murphy, which Ebersol arranged in case of an emergency. Fear never appeared on SNL again.